Bubble gum.
Chewing gum.
Chewing gum.
There's a bit of a difference, I think. The point I was going to make, because I'm watching Azza, who is quite a vocal player when they start winning, right? And he has to speak a lot as an in-game leader. For players like Twist and Elige, who are a little bit more quiet and they're not necessarily, having to call strats every round, I'm a bit worried that somebody might choke on some chewing gum.
That was the point.
That was the whole point.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
So I get it. You tied it into a little story to make a point. That's okay. That's fair.
Yeah. Well, because a lot of players are doing it now, right? So, it's meant to be... Maniac had a point about it. I can get him to do it on the post-game death segment.
I've always been told that using it as some sort of a tension release.
Apparently, it's because eating... I'm going to get this right. Maniac, tweet at me if I'm wrong. Actually, he can't hear me. He's up there.
Yeah.
But the point is with it is that when you're eating, you feel like you're comfortable, like you're in a safe environment. I'm going to double check. I want to get this point checked out.
That's very different. I would have thought it was some sort of like when you tense up in an extreme situation,
Sure.
the chewing alleviates some of that muscle tension.
Okay. Well, I'll message him.
That's just me hypothesizing.
I'm going to do it right now.
Out of a guess. Yeah,
I'm doing it right now.
Welcome to the Gum Stream. Things are going to get a little bit sticky in this one because it is map 3, and Na'Vi looked excellent on Inferno. They absolutely trounced Renegades.
Getting there.
It was immediately after a series they played against Ents. Obviously, the quarterfinal, they elected to play immediately after, and then now they struggled on Mirage. Leads us to Train, and it could be a series that I can't predict at this point.
Well, Peter just made a very good tweet, right? He's saying this bounce back attests to the progress of Renegades, right? Because if they were steamrolled out of this and it was a 2-0, kind of what happened in the major, because I think Dust 2 was the first map and they lost in a blowout fashion. Sure, it was a closer game on the second map, but they still just lost. Here they bounced back. Sure, it was on Na'Vi's pick. Still a very big strength that for the Australian, New Zealand, and the Norwegian side. But it is a good step forward for these guys nonetheless. And we'll get underway with the knife round here. Now, obviously, the CT side would be the preferred position to be kicking this one off on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's very much the case. Simple has had, of the 5 maps they played, one that arguably wasn't that incredible. Still like good kills, just not as much impact, not as much clutch moments. That map just so happens to be Train. They'll begin and end their 6 maps today on this map, whether they move on or not.
So obviously there was a lot of discussion about this on the internet. People were like, why is it directly after? Once again, just to reiterate the point, it was actually at the discretion of the teams who didn't want to have to wait around in, a 3 to 4, maybe even 5-hour lull, depending on how long that match would have taken, which would have been NRG versus Fnatic, which is our following game. But now with that knife round done, Renegades, they're sitting down, they're getting ready to go. I'll make sure I bring you that point about chewing gum as soon as it becomes available to me.
Just waiting for it to be allocated.
Well, it's legitimate information coming from Mathieu because he is actually qualified to read people. So I'm always a little bit worried when I talk to him. I think he's probably...
Oh, he did psych, didn't he? Yeah, man. He probably thinks I'm absolutely insane.
Well, if he
Wait,
doesn't...
hang on. He did psych, and he's named Maniac.
Yep.
Maybe that's like some next-level self-awareness right there.
Sure. Or maybe he's lulling us all in by making his name allow us to believe that he's insane, when in reality, he's the most level-headed and digesting all of our craziness.
But at the same time, that's something that a maniac and a sociopath would do,
that's
right?
True.
So now he's playing psychology to make us think we're a maniac, he's a maniac, I'm confused.
Could be like the mental Hulk.
Okay. He has to get angry to get strong?
Maybe, or maybe it's like some other trigger. It doesn't necessarily have to be anger. But we'll be kicking this one off shortly. Now, we need to build on the negatives that were Na'Vi in the first game because they did lose it, right? So we need to explain to the viewer what went wrong. And Zeus was unfortunately exploited towards that inner bomb site. Now, it wasn't in the traditional fashion that you see off the early gun rounds. It actually came in the middle of the piece. 3 rounds in a row, the exact same call was made by that side of Ent, and it was just explosions in towards that inner site. We should be getting underway momentarily, as we can see Liaz right there with his Harry Potter-esque glasses.
Yeah, the forward hair. I tried that for a while. I actually thought it looked great off camera. It just looked absolutely awful on camera. I agree with all of you that tweeted me that endlessly, nonstop at the London Major. Thank you very much for letting me know.
They really like to hurt our feelings, don't they?
You know what, though? When you get self-confidence coming out of your butt, you're not going to be too hurt.
So,
too butt hurt?
It's the worst kind of hurt I've heard.
Did Henry tell you that?
No, I don't know where I read that stat.
So DE Train, as I say, it starts and ends today, at least, for Na'Vi on this map. 6 maps they'll have played. Do they move on to play potentially 3 more or 5 more tomorrow? Remember, best of 5 finals We still have one more quarter after this as well. NRG, they've been waiting all day to play. Zeus is waiting for this round to come to his favor. They might.
He did this before with the CZ75 as well, so that was on overpass where he found effectiveness from the sandbag position. He's by himself, so if he's good for one here, he's going to stifle the progression. The little jiggle peak spotting it out is going to allow the rotation to come in. So Simple now is over from Connector. He's posted on up. Renegades have a Molotov, which could be applied to his position, or maybe the smoke, but either way, it's going to obscure his vision. Okay, so the smoke's going to land in the middle of the lanes. The Molotov towards the back of Bomb Train.
Shots out through the smoke. Zeus not able to do much about it. Has to hold off behind the train. Does now peek to find Azza. Good damage on the second as well. That's Jacob. He's down to 10. Simple still sits with 79. He's able to transfer over to the top of the tanker. That gives him some vision inside of the site. And Edward and Electronic give him tons of room, tons of confidence. And they'll just go after Leas directly. He gets the shot himself. And it is going to be 1-0 for Na'Vi. I say NRG's been waiting to play. That's not to forget their opponents. It's Fnatic that's been waiting as well. Both of those teams eager to make a final appearance. For NRG, they had a really slow start in this event. I wasn't sure they were even going to make it through groups. Yeah. Remember, in some ways, not at all in this event, but spiritually, they are the defending Chinese champions the last time they were here. They won IEM Shanghai. There's been lots of events in between. It's hard to say that, but they like winning.
Almost a year ago at this point.
That's a lie, like
9 months. It was in late July.
Okay.
And we're in April.
Yeah, okay.
So I know it feels like yesterday, but that's not the case. As Renegades, they're going to force buy back in. They've got full grenades here to go for a bit of a set piece. So let's see, is it going to be fast towards Yard or just going to be inside play? As we can see with the X-ray, all 5 players scurrying through the white walls. They could do nades through the skylights. Sorry, they're not skylights. They're windows towards the Yard position. Or they can just go in and do a complete set piece on the inner bomb site, where Zeus is currently alone. The rotation will come in the form of Flamey with the Org to be his overseer, his guardian angel.
So Zeus waits it out with the UMP. He'll smoke to buy space. Pistols, you could argue, just run through that anyway. Flamey's got the high side covered. I suppose there's also no harm in letting that smoke completely remove itself before going in. Good Molotov. Incendiary, rather. Won't let them transfer to the bomb site so easily. The bomb has gone down the lane behind him, and no one's watching that, so he's actually just sitting in between them. He was not aware. He won't be pleased about that, Zeus. He'll have expected his team to have taken a stance to not allow them to get so much ground. They're going to get a bomb plant, and they're already so far forward, holding onto the UMP with 2 kills. This could be Renegades stealing one back from Na'Vi instead. Electronic does see one high, but that gives away that he's there, which means he can't sneak up toward the bomb, and it's going to draw a lot of attention his way on 22 HP. He's even thinking about getting out. At least back off. Let Simple and Edward do the challenge instead, and you're right, no kit, no time. They might just back off this altogether. They'd have to be on it the next 5 seconds. Simple just wants to make it expensive. He'll run forward, but it's done.
Yeah, not the same symptom of the save that we saw earlier in the day, but it will be a save. Oh, Liaz not going to get away with his life, so the damage is done. So this time around, Na'Vi stayed to take away guns. Against Ents, I'm sure it was on later rounds when they actually were rifle v rifle, but they didn't want to give away anything there. They actually wanted it to be holding onto their guns, not risk anything of their economy while letting that build for the Finns. In this situation, they've done a lot of damage right there, but Renegades are still stealing one back. So they're in this series, that's for sure. 4 AK-47s, UMP for JKS. On the other side of things, we have the 2 saved Orgs, 2 CZ-75s, and a UMP. It's going to be 2 men towards the inner bomb site. Simple's going to swing out from high ramp here any minute, so Jacob and JKS, they're going to have to deal with this.
Simple. Wow. Yeah, that looked like a straightforward kill. It bounced all over the place on him.
They expect to see him, considering his form today, converting those. Just to be able to get them down. The Molotov is too late, so he's picked that up. And with Jacob's low HP, any of the weapons on the board right now can eliminate him from this round. Renegades have 3 players postured over towards team A, and Liaz is jiggle peeking to cover Ivy. Gratisfaction and Azza are stacked on up on the bin and on the ground, so they can cover any main pushes, and they can also throw grenades from here, because those late round scenarios for Renegades, we did see it was against FaZe. Remember, they were winning 3-on-5 situations. They were winning a lot of rounds that maybe they shouldn't. I don't think Na'Vi are going to give them the same avenue in. They have to be cleaner on their rounds, that's for sure. So I think what it looks like is going to happen is going to be a fake towards inside with JKS and Jacob. And then the remainder of players from Renegades are going to come through T middle. Gratisfaction's about to throw flashes over the top of main. They're going to go through this smoke, I think. They have to.
Edwards, wow. Hits, but wants to fight. Electronic is fighting, and so too is Flamey. As a 23 wants to go back for the bomb. JKS 58 wants to make sure that that's possible, but can't really get overly aggressive. Electronic realizes that they have the upper hand with the HP. He'll back off, spots another. They rotate back out to Pop Dog. Okay, now interestingly, bomb actually got thrown to JKS. He can still make the run. 11 seconds. I think he gets there. Okay, no, you're right. Electronic's perfectly positioned. Done. That was all called. As soon as Electronic saw the bomb going that way, he knew what the plan was.
Exactly.
Run Pop Dog and get over there as fast as possible.
So now Renegades have a choice, right? After losing that one, do they want to force buy again? There was only 2 guns carried across for that of Na'Vi. We saw what happened in the earlier stage. They went for the save, and Renegades will buy back. So they don't want to give up any ground in these early stages. And the reason that that's so important is, especially if you go round for round against the CTs, eventually if the Ts are able to string some together, they can actually get the stranglehold of the economy, and that's a good way to post up more rounds. And if it goes round for round on the T side as well, that benefits Renegades even more so. So quick play towards inside. JKS with that AK. A lot of weight on this kid's shoulders. No longer a kid, I say. Has to pick off Zeus towards the low ramp, who's jiggle peeking away. He gets caught lazy on this. He does take a lot of damage, but now they know that AK is on the board. Flamey, his Link player, will rotate back through connector, be able to bolster the inside defense. As they're watching Ivy, Leo's in team main. Big Jake and stacking Deagle down, so they know at least they're working against an AK and a Deagle. Strat's covering on Pop with the bomb. They only have flashes to work with, so JKS actually needs to be aggressive or have a player jump and bait for him to open up an avenue for him to pick into this round.
Edward.
He wants to go back to team main to pick, just to note he's actually walking all the way back, and the clock is ticking down all the meanwhile. Up close personal positions from Electronic towards main. Edward is still in Pop Dog, and Simple is actually playing close towards the 5 train covering off Ivy. Well, will be an Ivy play here.
Yep. I think that's the case. And with 5 going Ivy, that opens up the option to actually wrap all the way around to B still. Should it present itself? That's kind of a situational call.
Just
you have
time.
Time, and also depends, with 30 seconds, I'm going to say it's not happening, but depends on where the smokes are, depends on where the defenders are. If there's someone at the backtracks, obviously you're going to pull a hard right and go inside the side. If there's someone there, maybe you go the other way. They've elected to split this 3-2. Outside is the goal. Electronic waiting on the half wall. I call it the half wall because he's halfway toward Pop Dog and outside the connector to watch out A main. Simple gets the first, but he drops after. You're right. The round will not be. Jacob's got a shot back. Edward gets the important kills, and there was only 7 seconds. They wouldn't have had the comfort to plant the bomb. So now, Na'Vi find 3-1.
I don't know what just happened, but
I didn't catch that either. I thought we missed some sort of BM or some sort of...
Maybe it was.
Could have been inside the booth.
Could have been anything right there, but now this is where Renegades will concede. So the same thing happened to them on Inferno, I believe it was. They lost to the Force Buy. They tried to buy back in. They couldn't get it, and then they go, okay, well, now we'll take an eco. So they want to save up and get some big guns in play. Jacob will actually have a Zeus. Down Pop Dog he goes.
That's bold. That's aggressive. You want to take a Zeus down Pop Dog? Simple's got JKS. A pretty straightforward round. I think all 5 should even stay alive at this rate from this range. Electronic takes Gratisfaction down, and with that, 4-1 now. So they're stretching out a little bit. But that's mostly due to the money. We had 1-1-1. That always happens. There's going to be a bit of a momentary lull, shall we say, in the intense action.
To note as well, Electronic is already up to 11 kills. We saw him with a very good start earlier in the day as well. He was up close to main, up close Pop Dog, presenting a real nuisance for Ents. And then it tapered off because their approach, they got made a bit of a fool with all these inside players. Renegades, what can they do right now? A very direct approach to Ivy here. Maybe they'll go for that play you were talking about when they try and flank through CT spawn and wrap onto that bomb by catching Na'Vi players in rotation. Zeus towards the high ramp. Only with the UMP, so he can't really go aggressive for a duel, but he can take advantage once they've taken the box holes.
Flamey, nade through.
No damage.
Absolutely none. Would have bounced or ricocheted back to the right a little bit, so the 3 toward the dumpster would have been fine, but didn't go far enough apparently to reach Jacob either. JKS backs off from Pop Dog. It's Flame wants to work in. He's got a gap in the smoke. Gets behind it, but doesn't commit to the wall. Good thing as well, because the shots came back in from Electronic. Simple still waits out in front of the site as well with the AWP.
So they want to go sunny side. That smoke right there means they can boost on over, but they walk into the op of Simple.
First, then Edward follows it up. Flame Dogger can go back to the smoke. Lias is in the open.
Easy as you like.
And he and Electronic close it out 5-1. Even with the guns, they can't get kills. There's almost 10K.
What a clean round right there.
I think there probably is 10K because your GoTV likes to do whatever it's doing.
I think it's really temperamental.
Doesn't like you, does it?
No, I don't know what I did to it. The Renegades now, they'll be down on some deagles. Maybe they need to try and get the AWP up in Gratisfaction's hands to allow him to try and set the pace, set the tempo. We did have earlier matches in the tournament where Renegades just weren't stubborn, but their approach was more than happy to stay with rifles. And then Grat got the AWP up late, and he was finding impact here. You can be relatively loose if you're Renegades right now by floating around the map and trying to isolate Jules. There's lots of places to use deagles. The meat cleavers could be dangerous.
That's fortunate. Through the smoke, gets Jacob down. Needs will do this time damage. None at all. Either increase the radius or get rid of the particle issue with nades. I suppose that Astralis shows us that they're still relevant. They've brought them back in. There's been a lot more damage done by nades lately. But I still think they could be better. Like, that is the weakest nade. If I could have any nade, I'd rather have a smoke, a flash, or a Molotov.
Well, if you have a design purpose for it, like where you do a tactical nuke with the team, then yeah, it makes sense, right? But I agree with you in the sense that if you can make it so that if a grenade doesn't completely stifle its damage, if it lands as a step, and they're only what, you know?
Yeah, right beside it, but all the damage goes into the the right angle of the stairwell. Yeah, it doesn't do anything.
So that's where it needs to be adjusted. We need to note right now that Liaz is on 1 kill for Azza, and 1 kill for Gratisfaction. So frags are definitely not a plenty for Renegades right here, as the scoreline is currently 6-1. They need to get on the board. They need to get going. And once again, the AWP will not be a port of call. At this point, if I'm Renegades, I'm thinking, let's go and try and exploit Zeus towards inside. That's the only place we found success. We did it with CZs. Why can't we do it with AKs? But if I'm Na'Vi, I'm thinking, let's send our best player towards high ramp with an AWP to give him the 1-2 punch.
Simple, just waiting it out. He's got to back off. Molotov down. That'll help clear the corner.
Is very direct on this. He's just going searching for frags.
Oh! Good find at least, though, by JKS. Yes, Simple gets a fast trade, but at least he got away with one walking out upper while Simple was in transition, because it could have cost him very much. Jacob has Simple down. Good position, you're right. It was already inside of the site. That's going to clear B and allow the rotation for the bomb. Electronic, it may seem like he's fast on a flank, but it's still a long corridor. And honestly, they'll be watching for the Pop Dog flank anyway, so it might just be best to back off on this from the Na'Vi side, and it looks like that's exactly what they're going to do. There's one. 3 kits, 1 smoke, 2 flashes, and incendiary, but
it is the same.
Yeah, they've already pretty much decided that.
But this time they even said Simple there to make sure that this couldn't happen. It was a different approach. It wasn't the same thing that Ents were doing, which was just a flash or 2 and then pop down the low ramp or pop out the high ramp. It was actually just really good timing.
Does Liaz do what I used to do?
Liaz?
Yeah. I think he does what I used to do when I used to play. It's when he's like peeking around the corner to the right, he'll move his whole head to the right as if it's going to change his POV.
Dodging flashes, turning his face away from the screen.
Gratisfaction with 2 kills at the end. That's going to take the guns away all but Flamies. Still have enough to buy. They've got tons of money, but they're trying to stretch that out, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to do that. Like, you just, it's like leaning. You kind of like move your whole body. Like, oh, if I do it in real life, I can get that extra inch. Well, it doesn't work that way.
Apparently, as like a little kid, when I had the SNES, I would do that. But I don't recall that because I think I was like 4 or 5 or something along those lines.
I definitely don't do it anymore, but yeah, people used to make fun of me for that. All right, it was really hard. That was really sensitive.
Renegades with the pause, according to our lower third, so we have no reason to not trust it. As we're going to get the buy on the board, and they're still not going for any AWP, because if Grat bought in, he would have been glass cannon. So Galil on Azza. He's bought into a lot of utility here when he could have actually bought an AK. Unless that was dropped across to him. I didn't quite see it.
Well, here's your substitution of money. So Simple spent 64. Didn't see on the other side. Azza with Simple. on the other side.
He was dropped to Galil by Grat, so interesting.
Simple's backed off the angle, and that's exactly when they're going to peek out. They'll cross on the flash. He knows they're there, tries to re-peek. Now he has the angle with confidence that they'll arrive. But they're just clearing it. They're just actually pushing them back, and
hasn't worked, has it? No. Simple has full line of vision, and Edward is close pop dog. So this duel here hinges a lot right now for Na'Vi.
Catch them. Thought they were sneaky. They thought they were clever with the nade, and they're going to go for the totem. Totem with a pre-flash. Pre-flash to the stairs? What's that tension?
He did it to bait the
noise.
noise.
To bait the noise, exactly. He wanted him to look away.
It's coming in.
But now they both have to deal with the fact that Electronic was going to re-arrive. Gratisfaction was already turned away, waiting for a flash. That one didn't work out for him, didn't bounce it out. But that's quite clever. Just bounce it once, just to force him to look away. It doesn't blind them at all as a result, and they drop down with full vision.
Yeah, definitely the next iteration of the mind games of the totem drop. But Simple still has low ramp control, and here he can light one up. Dropping back, the call will come in. They have to pedal.
Oh, what? He got that through the edge of the train. That is such a tight angle, and he pulls it off. Zeus just comes over to clean up the rest. 7-2 now for Na'Vi. Almost fed for Zeus, but that's true too. He's on Na'Vi.
Yeah, leading the team. Driving this potentially dysfunctional team that still gets it done. I love the fact you have a contrast between, you know, different teams right now. Obviously, the Astralis, they do everything, you know, prim and proper. They sit up straight, they give all the right answers. You've got Na'Vi, slightly dysfunctional. You still love them anyway. Actually play probably the most entertaining style of Counter-Strike. You've got Liquid, who are star-studded pound for pound, probably have taken over the mantle from FaZe of the Rockstar approach to Counter-Strike. But it is just going to be this inside hit again. As
Couple
Renegades.
Canadians as well, just going to throw that in there.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. America, I didn't say the United States.
I know, I wasn't suggesting that. I'm just saying they're cooler because there is actually Canadians. And they're not sorry about it.
Strangely enough, JKS had the AK, but he's just swapped it over with Jacob. I assume JKS took the point because he maybe had a better spawn to go for the initial pick. But now that he doesn't have head armor, they've given it to Jacob, who does. And it will be this inside execute yet again. So towards this Spool's position, Zeus has to multi-frag from here. Oh, Hazard just got shot at by a teammate. So a little bit interesting going on right now.
Nice nade. Nice nade. Jacob takes all of it. Zeus.
Have to do better there.
So much damage, though. That's the one thing that still works for them. Jacob's on 48. The other two are bleeding out, especially Liaz. He's on 3. Does that matter against an AWP? Apparently not either way, because Simple hits the shot.
Look at him go. He knows they're close too.
Flashes, absolutely does. Misses it, though, because as it crouches, as he was lining up for the body shot, but the 2 kills follow anyway for Na'Vi, and for their sake, they'll find their 8th.
Looking real good for Na'Vi right now. Definitely none of that saving mentality that we saw going on earlier. They want to fight for all these rounds, and they're making it more than interesting. Warmed up, yep. Running out of steam, doesn't look like it. And now Renegades with the bomb plant. The max loss bonus will exist. And you're going to say, Chad, what are you talking about? Well, it's the way that the bank's being built up, because they did lose 5 in a row, and then they've lost
Then
2
they
in
won.
a row.
Yeah, they won 1, lost 2 in a row. Yeah.
So they're able to get the buy on the board.
I think it should be capped at 34.
I agree.
I don't think it should stay 34, 34, 30.
Shouldn't
like
buffer.
Yeah, buffer's the right word, exactly.
But the AWP will finally come out for Gratisfaction. We're 10 rounds deep on the first half of the deciding map in the semi-final right here at StarSeries Season 7. So many games of Counter-Strike have been played. Very competitive. Astralis and Liquid chose to sit this one out. They sat at home while the rest of the world came here to battle it out in Shanghai, China. Na'Vi are looking hot right now. It's been a different look Na'Vi for a lot of this. It hasn't just been the Simple and Electronic show. At the major, it was the trio. Flamey had a banger of a time. He's been quiet. But Zeus and Edward, they're earning their paycheck this time round, statistically speaking.
Yeah, Zeus has looked sick today. More of what you want to see from Na'Vi. Remember, it's Energy and Fnatic on the other side of the bracket. Simple. Boosted up with the bomb trade, different angle. Lets you see toward the pallet. Fire at the wall above. You watch. Checks. No one there, no one there. Where is it? He'll fire at the stairs. I thought that was going to be it. That's his style, right? Yeah. I don't see anyone, so I might as well just take the shot.
Michael Jordan, you
that was
shot you don't take.
That was Wayne Gretzky.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, well. That's a sporting reference. I'm not too good with the handballs.
It's also played with a puck and a stick.
And padding and skates and ice.
Yeah.
So this is in a really good position here to swing forward if the nades come over, and he's going to push anyway. Jacob almost caught quick switching right there, and he's going to do it again. If he gets,
it's one of those things, right?
It's a nervous tick, right?
Yeah.
Do it again, bro. See how many times you can get away with it.
Jason once made me unbind it because it got me killed. I kill someone, I instantly quick switch as a
4
little
times.
celebration. It's 5 in my count.
I blinked.
6. At least he's got the gun ready, but Zeus still wins it. Even with the dink, he will get traded out.
2 inside already, though. The rotations come through. Simple's going to be there well and truly in time.
Oh, didn't get the shot, but Flamey's down below is ready for it. They now know he's there, and they'll look that direction. Very spammable is that school.
No
Simple. Gone. Thought he could get the cross. He actually gave himself up to Gratisfaction. And even though there's no smokes, that goes both ways because now they're going to walk in against the AWP, which is looking towards that connector. Might just back out of this again. They are a little bit lower in the money now. They don't have up toward 10K. They've got 3K on Electronic.
Yeah, will be the save. So I just got the information in from Maniac. Now, he's given me a very simplified version because, first of all, I'm not very smart. Second of all, we don't have all the time in the world. But there's a theory is that in the history of mankind, you would presumably eat when you're in a safe situation, right?
Right, okay.
And
or if you're hungry.
From that, he said that's only one factor in the complex chemical situation. So there's a lot here. But anyway, we're digging into like a very face value situation. Basically eating, so the chewing of chewing gum, is a feeling of security, aka stress relief. Now,
so it's stress relief, but in a different way than I said. I thought it was like a muscle tension thing.
He said it's quite the shortcut to get to this point. But I can see the logic behind that, that's for sure. I thought it was just so there was less bitching and moaning from the players because
I always thought that chewing gum made you more hungry because your mind was thinking you were chewing and therefore you were going to get fed, and you never do.
Yeah, well,
there's so many theories. Like, all right, so we're just at like the tip of the iceberg. It also collects in your stomach forever in a ball and lasts for 7 years.
I don't know how true that is.
The other one that goes right through. I don't know how true any of it is my point.
Yeah, you're right.
There's more myths about bubblegum than there is about your ex-girlfriends. You've mentioned them a few times, Chad. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, sometimes it crops on up. I was going to say everyone enjoys mastication. Chewing.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of that and more.
All right, so we're getting down to what could be the dicey stage here for Na'Vi. The score is currently 8-3, going into round number 12. The AWP is out. We've already seen Gratisfaction find influence with it. This time around, there's going to be some opening nades come out towards the yard. Smokes toward 5 lane. There'll be no E-Box one to follow. Electronic's going to push on forward, getting up close and personal to make sure they can't control Olaf. There's going to be 3 players pinned in towards Team Main for Renegades right now, so they want to pounce out of this position. JKS is going to come through the pop dog. Gratisfaction's going to throw some nades over the top and then be the overseer with it all. Through they come, the flash. Electronic completely blind.
He's hit another shot as well. Things are falling apart. Simple's doubled up. Flamey doubles down. Gratisfaction with the AWP and the bomb against 3 players. Minute 15 to work with. No one's staring at him just yet, so he's actually going to transfer across to where I don't think they're going to expect him. They won't think that he's at Pop Dog. They're going to think he's still out towards Sandwich. The scope is prohibiting his vision. That's going to cost him in the end, surely. Because Flamey was in a regular field of vision, but the black circle made it impossible to see him.
Renegades will be able to buy again here. Azza is the only one who doesn't have enough money to get an AK-47 and armor up on the board. Gratisfaction could be dropped over an ult from Liaz, and they could go for something a little bit more pick-heavy. But inside has been the best place for them to go, right? Exploiting that inner bomb site. Heading to B, for those of you who aren't familiar with the reference. We said the simple approach worked for ints earlier, and now Simple is going to be posted up low round with the AWP again. He can...
That's not really how you're meant to do that.
Nope.
Downed at least by Leas. That'll bring it back. It's a 4-on-4. JKS will be a little bit frustrated because it was a movement fail on his part. That's a little better from Jacob. See, son, watch my screen. I'll teach you. Still loses health for it. Takes a little bit back. Doesn't really work that way. It's not vampirical. It's not vampirical. There we go. We'll just breeze over that one. But it puts him on 72.
So right now, Liaz has not forward position to Ivy, but he has a position to potentially flank out late. Jacob can come late pop, but Electronic is still whole thing up close and personal. So he's going to think better of it and walk on back through to meet up with Azza towards T-Main. Gratisfaction now over towards Ivy with Liaz. The UMP of Azza, it has a short life on it. After he clears main, then he needs to get out and get close. So he might have to actually wait because he's going from this position alone. Jacob is coming over towards Ivy 2. There's a timer on the smoke that Edwards just put down, and they're creeping forward. They're actually playing more passive as well, so they want them to push out here. They want to set up the crossfire once the territory has been taken. Lots of nades right now for Renegades, but the time is the problem. 20 seconds left. They're leaving this one down the wire.
Simple on top of the bomb. Here's the noise behind you. All the attention to Ivy. Blind. Doesn't matter. Magic wand.
Wait, Zeus from behind. He can stop the plant.
He's good. Azza. He got it down just in time, and the kill came through anyway to find the 4th round for Renegades. That was close.
All right. How many do you think Renegades need on the T side? Because we keep harping up, or at least I do, their CT sides. That's where they get the lion's share of their work done.
They had a chance for a comeback on the CT side against Astralis, and if I'm not mistaken, it was something along the lines of 10-5 or 9-6. So they're already there or thereabout.
Just going to take a little look on into the stat lines here for Renegades on train.
Yeah, give me the Astralis one notably. I think that gives us good context as to top opponents. Would have been in the major final. Either way, in the meantime, Simple waits below JKS. Multi-layered levels are always a good bit of fun. The Electronic will get main down below as Jacob fires just to make sure no one's pushed up. Edward. CZ.
So Renegades, with this roster, they've played train 13 times.
Go on.
Oh, thank God that stopped because I thought I was going to be
talking over the action.
Yeah.
That's why I said, go on.
So they've won 10 times, lost 3. 57% of their rounds won have come on the CT side.
Sure. The Astralis halftime score, what was it though?
On
because they got clutched out on train. Because Zipix.
They did Mirage first, then it was Nuke, and then it was Inferno. So maybe it's Nuke that you were thinking of.
Oh, it was Ents I'm thinking of, not Renegades. Right, my mistake.
Renegades had a comeback on Nuke in the first half. They were down. What is the scoreline here?
They just played Ents. That's why I'm still
6-2.
thinking because they played them on train.
We had a lot of games going down today here, but the clock is ticked low again.
Dink on the second player. The MP9 does a massive amount of damage. That gives them a chance. Inside of the site, he is also down. The low HP may not matter. JKS found one further. But now I think it's all too far gone. 7 seconds, no time to glance. Azza, though, knows where they all are. They got a second one on it, 10-4.
In my opinion here, I think Renegades need to convert this last round to give themselves a buffer. The pistol rounds
57's not a big difference, is it?
Obviously, that's taking in the infancy of this roster. Back when they first joined, there's been a complete revolution of this team in 2019, that's for sure. So if we want to break the stats down to the last 3 months alone, ever since this hyperbolic chamber of a boot camp that happened for them over 6 weeks in Katowice, Poland, where they just played against the world best, it swings quite heavily. It becomes 66% of their rounds have come from CT sides of a 4-1 set up there with a win over FaZe, 2 wins over MIBR, win over Avant.
Oh, I just missed.
The Alligator's out for Jacob with the pickup. You love it.
Hey, got that back from Edward.
Not so easy to use on the T side.
Saw an Alligator compound in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico recently. It's where they put all the unruly ones. And there was probably 14, 15, I would say probably actually closer to 20, just literally on the other side of a chain link fence.
Well, this
staring
is,
at us.
This is quick towards inside. Simple's missed. Can he get a second? Yes, he can. Will be dinked up in the process. Oh, my God.
Yeah, absolutely he can. Bomb stays on the deck, 10 HP, and he's already communicating that one's crossed over. Surprisingly, though, Electronic really got caught out by that. Still closed the half on 11-4. It almost seems standard procedure at that point. That's protocol.
Makes it look so easy as well, doesn't he? Towards the end, you know. We spoke about it before. Any of the highlights that Simple's done, if other players had done that throughout their entire career, they'd be smiling ear to ear. Simple's just content to get the round on the board. we were just talking about the wins for Renegades this year. It was actually 1 win against MIBR and 1 loss against MIBR. One came in the major. It was a 16-12 loss. The other came here at StarSeries, where they won 16-4. Before that, they'd beat Avantgarde 16-8. In the major, Asian Minor, they had beaten VG 16-7. So that's not too bad. If we look on over at Na'Vi's stat lines on this map for the last 3 months, so just kind of looking at 2019, we can bring up Train and we can see how they compare and the level of opponents. They've also played it 5 times. However, they have won at 3 and lost it twice. They lost to Ents today. We saw that one live. They beat VG 16-6.
In the 2 Train maps, I just want to point out quickly, today that is, Electronic now has 51 kills.
Okay, so he's a bit of a, I don't want to say Train specialist because he's good everywhere, but maybe he stands up.
Train aficionado.
Shines a little bit more, so Renegades are going to be allowing JKS solo inside here. He's trying to peek for information. Won't see anything. Oh, there we go. He is going to spot up one. The bomb's going to follow on through. They do have a smoke and a flash on Zeus. And once again, the P250 on Simple. Gratisfaction's rotated on over. It's going to be this inside hit any moment, but they're not ready for it. They haven't actually put the right pieces in the right places. So JKS, 3rd highest red player in the tournament, he's going to have to get a lot done here under pressure. Here it comes.
Waiting out for it. Drop in. JKS gets the first shot. Knows they're working up the sidewalk. Fortunately for him, taken down by Flamey. And already with the plant coming in, they watch the flank by way of Simple. He's got the P250 to work with. Range still favoring inside of the site directly. Aside from Edward picking up the USP, the CTs who start their way back around. Gratisfaction has the kit. He's got to be a little bit careful. Closer he dies to the bomb, I suppose, less the issue. Now it's behind the Train. They'll have to pick that back up immediately. Otherwise, if they continue pushing forward, they have to go backwards to get it as it gets Flamey. Kit's not picked up yet.
They didn't get it.
And Simple's going to have to wrap around. You're absolutely right. They didn't pick up the kit, which is a problem. If they did it while fighting, they might have given themselves a chance. They haven't. It's a 1-on-2. Jacob still gets the shot, but I think the time's gone.
Good shots, but
he can't get there. Yeah, if he had the kit on the way up, maybe they could have fought more aggressively to try and get it defused, but there it is. He picks it up now. Either way, it's Na'Vi on 12.
Yeah, that one there really stings to pick that up after the fact. Right now, both pistols going in the favor of Na'Vi here. The first half, Renegades were actually able to force buy and win it back, but then they lost the consecutive. Well, they're going to fight again here. Jacob has a Famous, scout for Azza, scout for JKS. Liaz, CZ75, Gratisfaction, saved $1,000, has some nades and a P250. Early utility exchange towards the yard. Jacob already dropped on down to 49 points of health. Arguably has the strongest weapon, depending on how much stock you put in that Famous. Towards Ivy, that's a tag. That's not only a tag, that's a headshot.
Electronic wants to get back in and work with that headshot tag need. Wombo combo. Jacob just checking out A main.
So Electronic is probably going to lurk late here from Ivy, and the rest of the players are going to go towards the inside bomb site. So he has two options in this scenario. Go really late and play the post plant and try and be the clutch factor, or go early to make sure that players have to remain on this outer site. Liaz is the first player he's going to have to deal with. And once again, Electronic in the smoke looking at the ground. They've seen him do it time and time again. And he gets the better of Liaz.
Yowzes. All he could see was his gun and his... That was enough. They get taken off, dinked up at least, I think, at the first shot. And as a headshot for the kill. That one does.
And
Electronic
they rotated.
finds Gratisfaction. You're absolutely right. However, Azza is still over here. Tag on the first. Edward drops in. Flamey finds JKS. I think Navi's finding their 13th round, if you ask me. Jacob is on the flank. Bomb's planted, though. And ready enough, let's say. Because they don't get the kill, but it gives everyone the information. There will be no element of surprise for him to go any further, and Simple closes it.
So let's talk about impact frags for a second there, because what Electronic did was, sure, he had 2 kills, and you think, oh, it's away from the action, but what he did was, there was 2 players from Renegades over towards that in-bomb site. You had, towards the back of the middle train, Azza posted looking at high ramp, and JKS wasn't connected looking at low ramp. As soon as those kills happened, look, sure, if it was 1, if he went for that later lurk, they wouldn't have had to re-rotate. So he gets another position, he obviously finds some big kills. And a round that started in a little bit of a dicey manner. It's all too easy there for Na'Vi as they want to put a lot of players out team main here. Posturing with the AKs, they know they can take the jewels against the lack of strong pistols. Edward will find the first, and now they're just barreling out to the yard. I assume the rest will follow. Na'Vi are looking great.
Good find, Flamey sneaking in. Has it though, JKS, hang on, nade damage. Kill as well, Dink! On to Flamey, re-peek, takes him a while. If they peeked from Z Connector while that was happening, he wouldn't quite been ready to fight, I don't think, in that situation. But Liaz is now the last alive, and he's limited. He's held off by way of fire and flame. Simple,
Once
though.
the AK.
Yeah, has given him a gun, potentially. He's still going to get around the corner and get to it. Bomb's not planted, it'll do so now. That should actually give Liaz the confidence to try and wrap it and grab the AK because he knows they're busy, and he doesn't really need to sit in the open right now. He can just go pick that up.
Very worried about these close corners. Will eventually get the AK. Now the question is, does he want to play for the future rounds, or does he want to try and be a clutch element?
Downed by Electronic.
Good crack at it, though, to be fair. He put a lot of Electronic low. If it came down to the 1v1 with Flamey, Flamey was on low HP, which means he either plays that very tentatively, or he swings wide when the bomb gets tapped, and then it's possible. Jacob here, 12 kills. He is the frag leader for the Renegades, 24 for Electronic, as Matt rightly so pointed out before. Only 6 deaths as well. Quite the performance from Electronic here. Scoreline 14-4. So sure, Renegades bounce back on Mirage, but Na'Vi have bounced back equally as hard here on Train. Renegades need to get going right now, and that's a great opening. Flash will come out. Liaz will take down Electronic. And Simple boosted over the smoke here, trying to see if anybody is going to make their way into a cutout. Oh, they did! They offered it up! Liaz, after the opening kill, he's going to get taken down. So now it is a 4-on-4 situation.
There's no money built up for Renegades yet. It's only been 3 rounds.
They're going back towards inside for this hit anyway. Flamey's the only one staying over towards team main. JKS playing a retake style towards the inner bomb site. He's not close enough to spot for info, so this is going to have to be Renegades getting back into the round. They don't have a defuse kit, so if they give up the site early...
What are they doing? Simple wanting the bomb or telling him to get rid of it, Zeus? Flames close for a kill here. Yep, he's got it as a down. I thought maybe Azza might get him if he stepped wide, but the Flames meant that Flamey wasn't actually going to go too far with that. Jacob's still underneath the pop dog. No one putting pressure onto him right now, and the fact that Flamey is behind, though, he's not far enough forward. Look at the work Flamey's doing. They're going to take this bomb B. Rotation's already gone through CT. This is a fantastic round. He's still lurking. Can still control Z Connector. Gratisfaction gets a shot onto him, but that's not good enough. Nade falls shy of the mark. Won't take him down, and he's bought so much time. This is over.
This
15.
game is
This
over.
is series point.
This is done. It doesn't even matter now for these two holding on to this. We saw the same situation over on Inferno. The fact was they'd given up so many rounds to just battle back into it. It's not possible. Na'Vi are a class act. I don't want to be all doom and gloom. I don't want to make this seem like it is... Actually, yeah, I do want to make it seem like it is an impossibility, because if Renegades come back, in spite of what I'm saying right now, it's even more impressive.
Exactly. People always say that about Henry and I when we say this round's done. Well, anything can always happen. And if it does, it highlights how impressive and improbable it actually was.
I've got a new term for those people.
Cucks.
I was going to say the vocal moronity.
Ooh. Oh, I like that. Spicy.
They forget we get the last say.
That is true. Duncan always says that about players, and he's right. Like, oh, you want to wreck me on Twitter? Don't forget that I'm the one talking to the crowd last.
Telling the story. All right, well, speaking of last, this could be the last round of the game right here. We have been delivered some excellent Counter-Strike today, and we still have one best of 3 to go. But if Renegades want to fight back into this, if they want to make the Aussie fans still awake right now, because it's not that late down under, they need to start here. AWP in their hands of Gratisfaction. As Simple wants to try and spam through the wall. Jacob only has that shotgun, everybody else with AUG. So Renegades, they have to post 11 on the trot here to take us to overtime. It is going to be a mammoth task. It's going to go massive. That's not big enough.
Flash gets thrown over toward lower. No one's pushing as of yet. 6 maps for Na'Vi, back-to-back. And 4 and 2 is good enough.
It's just going to be an execute. All 5 players congregated towards the box halls right now for this of Na'Vi. Here's the impending doom of the round is slowly trickling in now for Renegades.
That's frustrating for Gratisfaction. He just rotated over in that direction, and they went forward. He gets smoked off Bumper. He can't shut them down, but JKS can. He'll sneak back into the tanker. Good shot. Electronic. Good night, Zeus. Gratisfaction backs off, though, and didn't know Edwards was that far up. With the Opera now down. Shotgun, 2 Augs, 2 kits. Smoke and 2 flash.
Jacob has a shotgun. Retaking from connector becomes impossible. Liaz needs to get a kill so we can pick up an AK.
They need to speed it up. They do have the flank coming in. Liaz is gone. Jacob, he might be as well. 2 HP. Aza's going to be the one on the flank, and they're going to realize it. They're going to clear out everywhere else. It's a matter of a process of elimination, and they will eliminate Renegades. Simple with the final kill, just as the last map, and it's 16-4 in the end.
Well, Na'Vi with 6 maps on the trot to kick off today. Quarterfinal, semi-final, and now grand final. They make that look easy on the third. 27 kills for Electronic, 23 for Simple, 50 combined. Absolute monsters.
That's 57 kills for Electronic on Train today.
Mental.
And 27 this time beats the 30 because it was less rounds.
They are a scary force to deal with, and as you can hear, the crowd happy that one of the legends of old, one of the
Yeah, I think we'll get our finals favorite. I mean, Fnatic is a legend of old too, so
That's
maybe
true.
they'll be on that side. That'll be an interesting one. They seem to stick to tradition. NRG, I don't think we'll have much behind them. They'll applaud their supporters, and rightfully so. Back to back, they made it work.
Yes.
No excuses. Impressive, I have to say, all the way through that they are able to do that. And we talked a number of times about it. The fact that they wanted to play back-to-back actually meant you stay kind of focused. There was a bit of a lull. I would have excused them if they had a slower start on Inferno, maybe missed 5 or 6 rounds just trying to get back into it. But it's better than, like we say, if it went 3 maps in a map series they aren't playing.
I think
I would be asleep by now.
I think it's clear as well for Renegades what their best map is. There's no argument that it's Mirage, right? Because they've taken down the biggest scalps in the world on that map, and they're able to do it against Na'Vi, a team who also really enjoys Mirage, in a relatively easy scoreline, 16-8. So that could be their go-to in picks from now on, and we've seen really good signs for them to get through to the semi-final once again. It's good signs, both Ents and Renegades, similar boat coming in. It's still consistent performances. They didn't make it to the grand final, they didn't make it to the semi-final. Well, Renegades did, Ents didn't. But the point here is that they've shown positive form throughout. It hasn't been dropping off a cliff by any means, so they can keep their heads held high.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think we're seeing more and more that they are going to be in the top 10, and they'll be featuring more and more on your stream at home, very likely. I would suspect that will be true, and it's nice to see finally consistency because they've had up and down in the past.
Well, we can throw this one. I don't know where it's going, but take it away. Oh, never mind. I misheard.
Damn, man, did get that one all wrong. I didn't know where it was going either. We're gonna go to an interview on stage eventually, but we'll talk for another about 50 seconds about the future.
The chewing gum. Do you have a favorite brand?
Chewing gum. Hubba Bubba.
They're ready. Don't worry about us. Get over there.
我这边首先也想问他说，他现在心情如何？So for the first question, you ended this best of 3 with 1 HP and a final kill. How are you feeling overall?
I'm feeling tired. I just feeling tired because pretty hard day for me and our team. So I'm just happy that we managed to win. Now it's the last chance, like to win tomorrow. I mean, just all of us want to win right now. It's important tournament for us.
Would you consider doing another back-to-back best of 3 again?
Not now.
刚刚也是问到了他感觉如何嘛，然后他回答的也是很直接，就是我现在非常的累，他们对这个赛事非常的看重。然后刚刚也是问到他会不会愿意下次还尝试就是连续打2场 BO3，他说现在不想。那第二个问题就是他们 Inferno， 其实刚刚牛仔有很多机会可以研究他们这张地图，而且这张图2支队伍都蛮会打的，而且他们打的时候一开始会以为就是应该会有点累了，没想到他们状态这么爆棚。然后第2张图荒漠迷城的时候，则是开始的确是有一些疲态，也是被牛仔8-0开局，然后之后追上来之后呢，刚好 Jacob 又直接一个 ace 又阻止了他们的一个攻势。那最后一张图他们是怎么样调试这个心态，能够有这么好的成绩？So the second question on Inferno.
With Oak,
Yeah. You know about it, but I wanted to ask, like, Inferno, Renegades, they had some time to look at how you guys played against Ents. It felt like they could have made more preparations. Also, you had to play back-to-back, so you couldn't prepare additionally for them. But you guys seemed to dominate on that map. But in Mirage, you guys were behind 0-8, and it feels like you guys were showing signs of fatigue, and you started making the comeback, but then Jacob stopped you guys again. What was it like for you guys, and how do you guys change things up for like Train?
So first of all, we played different that we played with Ents on Inferno. Finally, we showed what we can do on city side on this map, and the round with JCam, we knew that they always like to boost window in buy round, in eco round, and I think it was my fault because we killed the guy under window, but we didn't expect that he already boosted him. So that's a main mistake, I guess, that destroy our economy. So we couldn't buy up and play our game after. And yeah, and Train, just pretty good Train for us.
也是说到刚刚他们在荒漠迷城的时候，他觉得他们没有人看 VIP 这个位置，他觉得是他个人的一个失误。然后那个时候 Jacob 其实已经绕过去了，都已经过了。然后呢，接下来他们经济就直接被对方摧毁了，所以也是很无奈。Alright, so final question. Actually, it's not even a question. Do you have anything for the fans that have been rooting for you and screaming Na'Vi the whole time?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks everyone for support. Thanks everyone who came today on this tournament. And I hope we will get your support tomorrow as well, because it's going to be an important game for us, and all of us need you.
这个需要翻译吗？反正也是说到，就是很感谢大家继续支持他们，然后也是希望明天也是如此，继续能够替他们加油打气。那我们采访到这里就结束了，我们把时间交还给分析师。
Oh dear. That's right, the Renegades have faltered here right towards the finish line, just barely making it to the three-quarter mark and ultimately faltering in the semifinals. They're out. And Na'Vi #1, well, almost, close. In fact, they're well on their way. And after a performance like that on Train, I don't think that they're going to be slowing down.
Hold your horses, Trace. Na'Vi is not #1 yet, but they're about to be.
So they're on their way.
They're on their way, but you said Na'Vi #1, right?
It's
not
kind
to
of
be
like
mistaken by China #1. I don't know. Anyway, Na'Vi definitely having a great game once again. Electronic showing up. You know, he's a star. He's a star player. Last year he was rated as one of the 5 best players in the world, and I think that sometimes go unnoticed when you have Symbol on your team as well. This game, though, he was by far the best performing player.
Oh, definitely. Electronic is having a monster performance at this event, today, during that map. We talked about it in the pre-show, a different Na'Vi on the city side than it had been against Ents. It's probably too easy to say, you know, they just fixed their mistakes. I like to think it has something to do with it.
Well, I'm thinking a little bit of the mismatch, all right?
Yeah, well, the thing is, the way Renegades approach their T side is not that different from Ents.
Okay.
So it's possible that there have been like some conclusions that they draw from the first game they just used here. And fair to say, Renegades won 4 rounds on the first half. That is 4 isolated rounds. So that's my way of saying they won rounds in the hardest setting of the game.
They never strung them together.
Exactly. They never had like any financial edge over Na'Vi. Maybe 1 round was a forced buy. Na'Vi had all the money in the world, and as we said, Electronic.
That's
just
the thing,
a
right?
masterclass.
Two of those 4 rounds they won on the T side was forced buys on the inner bomb side. So they tried to use some of the same logic they saw in the Ents game, where they did see some weakness in the inner bomb side. But then again, you know, Na'Vi was simply just too strong when it came down to the nitty gritty.
Yeah, the nitty-gritty is this. As much as 11 rounds on your CT side will give you for Na'Vi, not only will it give you the W, but then Electronic wants to come alive and say, you know what, I'll top that one over, starting by having the stats 27-7. This guy had a 126.5 in this 16-4 showing, which is kind of indicative to the story of Train in this setting.
Yeah, and I said it before, and I'm gladly going to say it again. I think Electronic sometimes goes unnoticed for how good he actually is. I think a lot of pro players rate him as one of the best in the world, and I think himself, you know, knows that he's one of the best players in the world. But we as analysts and we as fans sometimes, we look at that guy. We look at Symbol all the time because he is obviously the best in the world. But the fact of the matter is that you have potentially what could be this 3rd or the 4th best player in the world matching up with Symbol on the same team, and he got to show off right here on Train why that is.
Very much so. And I feel like today we had the occasion to see how Navi can look when these two players at the same time are fired up.
Sure.
And I would like to take a minute just to reflect on what Navi have done today.
Let's
which is
do it.
very impressive, right? First of all, they've played 6 maps, 2 best of 3. They have won against ENCE and Renegades, 2 teams that came pretty much hot out of the major, that people were looked at as, the new top possibly. And Navi just reminded us all that, wait a minute, we are still up there and we're going to take you on best of 3, no problem.
Yeah, and just to go back to the maps point, it's a little bit different than playing 6 scrims in a day. 6,
sure.
6 sets of bookings that you've made scrimmage-wise. These are high-octane matches. Whether the scorelines show that or not, you have to put it all out there because this is your time to shine. This is the chance that you get.
It is very tough mentally to stay focused for that many maps. It's a fair point to raise, and I think Navi have done a great job today of doing so. At no point did I feel that Navi was burned out. At no point did I feel that Navi was fatigued or anything like that. It seemed like they were fully focused from the very get-go of today. We even saw them smile inside the booth from time to time, and that's normally something we don't associate with being a Navi fan or a Navi member of that matter. But as of recently, it seems like they managed to turn around the ship, and as you said, let's have a look at what they actually accomplished today. Right now, ENCE, Renegades, and Navi are the 3 teams fighting to be the 3rd best team in the world.
I agree.
And after today, we gotta conclude, well, Navi is still the 3rd best team in the world.
Okay, and that's Jacob Pimp Vinicky, everyone. That's his thoughts and his opinions. Of course, his
You
viewpoints
got
do
anything
not.
to add there, Trace? Or?
No, I was just going to say that there's one man that, he's right here on your screen right now. You can take a look at what he's done within this map. But my goodness, this series overall, 72-32 with 115.6 ADR.
That's all right.
We talk about simple time and time and time again. But what is it that he eats for breakfast? I think I'm going to have to go ask Sasha what it is that he does and how he does it.
I saw him at breakfast this morning, and I'm pretty sure he got some Cocoa Puffs.
Okay. I guess that's
knowledge right
choice.
there.
Maybe since all the Cinnamon Toast Crunch I've been eating over the years, that explains a lot.
Yeah, it didn't really do that good for you, did it?
No, it didn't do that good for me, and neither did these brackets for that of North, Vitality, ENCE, and NIP. Found their way out in the quarters, and again, this was the first semifinal you witnessed in Navi versus Renegades, which tees us up for the last best of 3 of the day, NRG versus Fnatic, and this one could pack a little bit of a punch. It could be a little bit of a banger maniac.
Oh yeah, completely. 2 teams that I personally did not really expect in the semifinals, so I'm very happy to see them here. On the side of NRG, they have had a rough patch, I would say. Maybe 6-7 months ago, people started to notice them. They've had good results, and then they didn't really live up to it. The major was always hard. They failed once at the minor. This just major here, they struggled after the group stage. Now they're back in a good standing again, and Fnatic just literally coming out of the shadow. Like, we haven't seen them for such a long time. Individually very strong, very good CT side. So yeah, this can be a very good semifinal.
Yeah, and the truth is, Fnatic known for their little woes and wobbles as well. They haven't necessarily just found their way here, found their path in the most easiest fashion, and that's the storyline we're going to have to paint. But not before we go to a quick break, because that's what we've got to do. We've got to set the stage. We've got to get all the players in the booth, and, well, we've got to get this game ready to go. A best of 3 is upon us. It's going to be a semi-final to remember. NRG versus Fnatic is coming up when we come back.
Cool, right? Want to know where I got it? Well, look, go to cs.money. It's a trade platform and a marketplace at the same time. Just choose, click, and get. Good luck, bro. I'll take that. Yes. Hells yes. Oh, armed and dangerous. Oh, hell yes.
Hellcase. Update and new features in the case battles. Updated and convenient interface with new options. Up to 4 users can participate in one battle now. Create and customize your battles, any number and any type of cases. Choose the number of participants and invite your friends with a unique link. Watch the best drop and win everything. Don't miss epic battles on Hellcase.